All right, guys. Big tech earning is here, and it is a mixed bag. We had Microsoft completely tank, while Meta shoots up like crazy because they're doing great things. Tesla sort of stays in the middle, so we're not actually making a big move up or a big move down. It is actually interesting, but we've been bouncing between in the after hours market between slightly green to slightly red. So we're going to break down and look at what exactly we need to look for as we go into tomorrow. Remember, we have additional earnings for tomorrow. We're gonna get into it. Let's get it going, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is another episode of Stock Market Review. We are here trying to get this thing going. I want to give you guys showing you guys and break down what's going on in the market. Once again, this was an eventful day, an interesting day. It was when it comes to the Fed meeting, it was not unexpected, and Jerome Powell actually decided to leave a lot of things out. While we did have a decision, interest rate is going to remain stagnant. We're not increasing or decreasing, so we're remaining neutral. However, this man refused to make any comment on whether or not he's going to stay on the job or anything. Anything as they asked him, he pretty much said he's not going to address that right now. It would be inappropriate to do this right now. So he was very, very careful to make sure he did not spook the market in any way. So this man literally had a whole 1 hour press conference and said absolutely nothing. I mean, the whole thing could have been an email. You know how you have those jobs at work when you go into those meetings, when you go into those meetings at work, and you're like, guys, you know what, guys, this whole thing could have just been an email. This is exactly how I felt about that one. If you guys are here, make sure to like and subscribe. Again, make sure to like and subscribe and comment. That really helps the channel to grow. I really appreciate it. I noticed you guys have been doing that, and I'm seeing the channel getting more and more views. And for those of you guys that are also sharing the live, I really really appreciate that. That being said, we're gonna get into it. I'm going to give a couple of people, since we just went on, give people a little time to sort of get going. Just come in here, and while we are doing that, what I'm going to do is put the futures on so you guys can see how the future is currently moving. This is the 5 minute chart. You guys can see exactly how things are moving currently. Interesting though, man. Interesting day. I mean, you guys can see here. This is what happened. Um, this is what I tell you guys why. If you check out my strategies, you'll see that I do not trade. I do not trade the first 30 minutes of the stock market. I let it settle first. This what happened this year. These were all manipulation, right? I mean, just think about if you try to buy on this candle. Well, this is indecision. This shows you maybe we're going to drop. Since you had a long tail, you think it might drop. You took it. It went to support. It bounced. It does this. You think it's going to go up. By the way, this again. This is the 5 minutes, right? So we have this candle. So maybe you think it's going to pop back up in one. No, it's not. It's not going to do that. It's not going to pop back up. And you can see pretty much how it just chop people up pretty much. If I take this literally is what we were doing here. This is no trade zone until we got about this is right there, right? Once we got it here, we at this right here is our candle direction, sort of like set that our trend setting candle. All right, this is our trend setting candle. Once that happens, we pretty much took off. All right, still gonna give you guys a couple of minutes to get here. I know so a couple of people, some because I also got on a little late. I'm gonna give people a couple of minutes to get here. We're gonna get into it. By the way, this is the Nasdaq. You guys can see what happened after hours, because again, this is the futures. The futures is actually open 24 hours. Well, 23 hours actually. 23 hours. So you guys can see what's happening here. right? When those numbers first dropped, we had a drop. Then we push. We actually pushed up. No, actually, this is where the day started. We had a push up when the numbers came out, and we did a bit of a drop, and we've been steadily just going down. Hopefully, we find some support level here, and then we push up going into tomorrow. So, but we're going to see how that plays out. We'll see. We are still watching. If you did play any of those earnings today, I would like to know. Would love to know. Let me know. That's why Empire Path. It's POP day every day. Just follow your process, stay consistent, and do not get bored. Whatever you guys do not find something to do when you're trading, because sometimes when you're sitting there and just waiting for something to happen, right? When you're just sitting there waiting for something to happen, sometimes boredom makes you take trade you know not to take. Therefore, one way to eliminate that, just keep the mind busy. All right, just find something to do and keep the mind busy. All right, let's go in the. This is the S&P 500. That's the one we reviewed yesterday. I'm going to take the exact same one again. So we made an all time high today. This is a new high. That's intraday. We made a new high intraday. However, what I do not like about this is the fact that once again we got rejected where? Right at that resistance level. We are still getting rejected there. Let me open that more so it's legible for everyone. This is the this that's the level we need to break above. We need to reclaim or break this trend line, right? So we have a converging trend line happening, but this is not happening. Although we're making a new high, excuse me, we made a new high, but as we guys can see, we are not actually pushing up. This is it's just not happening. All right, and that's the resistance level right there. Just to make it more legible for you guys, let me just do this. If we were to do this almost as a bit of a zone like that, you'll see exactly what happened. We tried to push through it, and it got pushed right back down. Now, the MACD started to look a little okay in the daily. Actually, we're crossing up, as you guys could see. The selling momentum, it was dying out. Even though we had a red candle today, we actually did have we can see that momentum is flipping in the MACD. So we're going to see how all of that plays out. And again, if you just got here, make sure to like the video. Make sure to like the live. Share it if you are able to. I would really appreciate that because sharing, liking, and commenting does help the channel pushed out to more people. The algorithm likes to see engagement in those lives. But as I keep telling you guys, I will be here no matter what. Obviously, I want to see the channel grow, but I will be here no matter what. I will be here. And if you did take any trade on any that's a gamble. I don't really like trading. Let me just talk to you guys directly. If you are trading earnings, my recommendation and the way I like to play it most is play both sides, right? So either I will do sort of like a double calendar or a double debit spread, and if I just want to take advantage of implied volatility, what I would do an iron condor. If you're not familiar with those are option strategies. If you're not, unfortunately, you have to be qualified for your platform to allow you to your broker to allow you to trade those strategies. But these are to me are the best way to play these things. You cannot play them one way because it is literally a 50-50. All right. I do it sometimes depending on how well I'm doing for that month or going into earning, how well I'm performing. I don't mind just taking some risk and like, hey, I'm already way up in profits and whatever. If I want to risk a few $100 here and there and whatever, I'll take the chance with it. And before we finish this video, actually, I will show you guys an example of exactly how that would work out. Well, I'll give you, yeah, we'll talk about it, and I'll sort of like show you guys if you were to do something like that with Meta. All right, so going back to exactly the SPX, this is what we're looking at right here. Let's get into it. This is no fluff, no emotions, just chart, and no BS. All right. What we are looking, this is the 4 hours. All right. So when we look at the 4 hours, what exactly did we see? We made that intraday high, and then the selling started. A lot of times when you see things like that happen, most of the time when you see those heavy selling, these are institutions are dumping. All right, that's institutions dumping. This is the 4 hours. Let me switch on the chart. That's institutions dumping on your head as a retail trader. Retail don't have the kind of money behind it to give you a 4 hour candle like that on the SPX, mind you. That's on the SPX. That takes a lot of money to produce a candle like this. All right. So be again. I keep telling you guys, I'm still bullish. I am cautiously bullish because we are at all-time high, and what are we seeing? Anytime we get to certain levels, we're seeing it's getting beaten down. So the big money is just keep on. They taking advantage. They selling into the rip, right? They selling into it. Anytime we have a rip, they sell into it. So and what you can see is literally happening. All that money is then flowing into what? Into gold, precious metals overall, a little bit of healthcare, and but mostly energy. All right. So that's what I don't like. I really don't like what I'm seeing right now. Let's go in the 2 hours. You can see in the 2 hours what we are doing right now. Again, we had this aggressive selling, and then we sort of like just went sideways the rest of the way. Let me remove my moving averages on here so I can have the chart look a bit cleaner. It looks a lot easier for you guys to see it that way. This is what you could see. That's just chop. They just chopping people right in there. That was the move. Once that move was made, we did absolutely nothing for the remainder of the day, pretty much. This is the 1 hour. The 1 hour showing we had some buying coming, but then again, as soon as we got back to this level, this got beaten down pretty bad. We checked the 30 minutes. Let's see. Checking the 30 minutes, once again, we are not seeing much. There's no pattern. There's no trend lines that's actually holding us. Like we literally have nothing. We need a squeeze to happen. If not, this is what's gonna happen. We keep bumping our head against that level, we're gonna get a concussion. That's what's gonna happen. And if you not look at it, I know we had a gap, so this is sort of like what we're doing here. All right, and with our neckline being, you can put the neckline like right there, right? We try to break below that level, but what actually happens is we never confirmed it. All right, what's the process? Again, going back to POP, what exactly is the process, right? When we have a break of a major level, structure, major support, major resistance, we need one thing that a lot of people call that different names. We're gonna zoom in with you guys again. People call it different names. If you hear somebody saying acceptance, all right, confirmation, continuation, all three means the exact same thing. All they really talking about is just like some fancy ways of saying, hey, since we just broke a major level, right? Major support level, we need to see a candle close below the candle that actually just supposed to set that trend. Let me zoom in and make that bigger so everyone can see it. So if we break here, we actually needed this candle to close below that candle. That's acceptance, continuation, or confirmation. Either way you want to call it, if you hear somebody talking about that and they're using that, some people use different jargon depending on where they learn. But I'm trying my best to give you guys exactly how everybody use it. Whichever one you prefer, you use that. All right. Um, Again, let's say if we go back, that's the S&P 500. So far we don't have any major moves. Let me look at the MACD real quick on the 30 minutes. MACD on the 30 minutes not looking very good for us. We don't have any. Yeah, we do not have any bullish divergence. As a matter of fact, the MACD is actually making a lower. Yeah, MACD is actually making a lower low. So what we would have want to see actually is a curl up right there. So we're not getting that. And because there's no after hours with this and we had earnings and we had some moves, sometimes the SPX does not really show everything. So what we can do, since the SPY, that's the SPY, which is still the S&P 500, but the SPY does have after hours. So that means we're going to get a little bit more information in the SPY. Again, look at that. Since when have I had this? I told you guys we might come right in there, right? And where exactly, why are we rejecting? We are rejecting because we are literally at the top of that trend line, or the top of the wedge. That's why we're rejecting. And why did we bounce right back again? We bounced right back because we came to do what? We came to hit the support level. It's not too complicated. It's like just as long as you follow your process, you respect technical analysis, you should be able to do okay. But obviously, when the stock moved too much, like today was a no trade day for me. I didn't have any trade because why? The market gapped up. And it pushed down when I was going to take my trade. We had system issues. Unfortunately, I could not trigger my trade. So I'm like, okay. By the time that issue was resolved, unfortunately, there was nothing else, and I didn't force it. I'm like, hey, you know what? No trade day, no trade day. That's okay. When it comes to the S&P and futures, all right. But again, for you guys that are going to trade tomorrow, watch. You guys going to have to watch those levels. Mark those on your chart. Make notes of them. Here you go. That's for the S&P 500, 697 and 693. Do we gap above or do we gap below? All right. Because of where this closed, I know we had earnings and whatnot, but because of where this closed, I think we might actually open inside of that range. So opening inside of that range means we can either go to test the high and push back down, test the low and push up, or if we gap up, still watch that retracement. All right, watch that retracement. If we gap up, you going to get it. Just make sure you watch for it and time that properly if you are going to day trade tomorrow. Going in the 4 hour time frame, checking the 4 hours here, you guys could see what happened. So we pushed up, all of this happened. This is what I don't want to see. I do not want this to become some sort of head that's happened here for this to do that. Okay, so I really like the fact that it try to come below that level. It actually pushed right back up. All right, so as of right now, market closed with us inside the wedge. It seems like, but let's dig in and see what's going on. The 2 hours is a good indicator to let us know what exactly is going on. So let's see what we're doing with the right here. So far, we're still not bad with the 2 hours in the SPY because we still have room to come down and curl right back up. That would be a beautiful move. Hopefully, when you have the likes of Apple and Alphabet and Amazon, when those companies report, hopefully that actually takes us to new heights. Now, checking the okay, I have a question here. What does it mean when you say market is choppy or consolidating? So we could say it is this was let me give you a good example of that. So this zone here, let me do that as a zone. This would be considered again, that's the 30 minutes, but since it's right there, I'm just gonna going to use that, right? So meaning choppy means all it's doing is moving from this distance and up, never really coming to anywhere. We just hit. So it's just consolidating, meaning the market there's indecision. The market has not taken a direction. So what you need to do as a trader to make sure you don't get chopped up is when you see those candles are closing pretty much around the exact same time for an extended period of time, you still stay within the same zone. You don't take any trade until you have a breakout or a breakdown, which I'm going to show in the chart real quick. Until you get a breakout or a breakdown, you don't do anything. Consolidation zone is the worst place you could be because at that point your trade is 50-50 unless you can time it to buy it at support or buy it at resistance. Unless you're willing to take it exactly at those levels, you're just gambling at that point. And there's nothing worse if you actually take a trade while stock is consolidating and you taking that in the middle. So for example, this is what I'm talking about. So when you have something like that, until a move is made either on the way up, a breakout, or breakdown with confirmation, you don't do anything. So let's say, for example, you were trying to trade this. We had this big move down, and you saw this happen, so you got in. You got in here. That's right in the middle. This is no man's land. You don't take trade on those levels. All right. You just stay patient, and then he just see how he pushed right back down. He pushed right back down, and this is why again I keep telling you guys, you have to wait for continuation. If you see this and you jumped in it and say, hey, you know what? We just went below a trend line, so, and this is a strong candle. I'm just going to jump in. Guess what? Guess what it did? It never closed below that level. So you never have continuation or acceptance or confirmation, right? So you never had that. And what it would have done is push all the way up. And if you actually trade with any type of principle, your stop loss should be no further than this level, right? Right here. And let me remove that so we can see it better. So a couple of ticks away from the tail of this candle. Some people would put it exactly there, some people would put it there. So just in that move, it would have taken you out. So that's what they mean about chopped out, right? If you don't wait, if you're trying to be too aggressive, you're going to get chopped out. And for somebody who see this move coming, and they jump in before this candle actually close or anything happen, and it push right back down again, chops you out. That's what I'm talking about when I say being chopped out. All right. Hopefully that clears things up for you. With that question, good question by the way. I really appreciate that. If anybody else have any other questions, feel free to let me know. The other thing I want to take a look at real quick is the cues. Look how perfect that is. I have had this resistance level sitting here. You guys have seen it every single night when you come here. You see that level sitting right there, right? And that level has been there, I think, for over a month now. Let me see. Last time since October. I've had this level since October 2025, and it literally came to that level and got rejected. All right. So this is how you plan for things. When I told you guys that, right? I told you guys, hey, the fact that we're here, there's no resistance all the way here. We're gonna have a move way up there. Unfortunately, that move was made overnight, and it literally gave you no real chance to do anything because it opened. The market literally opened way up there. Market literally opened way up there. So there was no room for you to ride anything. And if you are waiting for the breakout, excuse me, the breakout actually never came. The breakout never came. So as of right now, it seems like the market is sort of like cooling down. The Qs is actually slightly positive. If you want to take a quick look at the Nasdaq futures, that's the Nasdaq futures. If you're taking a look at that, you guys can see right down here, it is slightly positive right now. Not the big push that we had, but it seems like we are rising back up, which is good. It's good to see. And again, these are major levels, all right? So that's another thing when you're trading, you guys have to keep in mind. Those major levels, like 7,000, let's say 7,500, like those round numbers, they are typically whenever the market reach those, it's very, very hard to continue going because these are like psychological levels. Because maybe there were some people that was already in and their target was 7,000. So now that it got to 7,000, they are taking profit. All right. So things like that always going to happen with a lot of different stock. You're going to see things like that happen a lot. When they get to certain level with those round numbers, people typically just shut it down. Again, if you are here, guys, I want to remind you guys again, if you are here, please like this video, share with anybody. For those of you guys that are sharing this video on YouTube, I really appreciate that. You guys are sharing that on YouTube. And for the next few days, for the next few minutes, I want to take a moment once again to talk to you guys. This is not about stocks. This is not about. This is just about life. All right. I'm gonna get on my soapbox. If I had a box, I would have probably got on the box right here. I'm joking. But this is what I want to say to you guys. I saw the news this morning. I shared that for those of you in the community, and you saw that. Amazon last year had record profit. Record profit. Um, Jeff Bezos making so much money that this man gifted somebody $100 million for doing nothing. The person did not ask it. He didn't say, "Hey, you have to do X with it." He just told the guy, "I'm going to give you 100 million. You do what you want to do with it." That's it. That's how much money he's pulling in. And how is he making that money? This is the hard workers. We all started out with jobs, right? Going in, doing their best, sleepless night. People are working overnight and doing all this. It's freezing outside. It's cold. Like I had the luxury of staying home when we had the snowstorm, right? Some guys at the Amazon warehouse don't have that luxury. They have to go in. As a matter of fact, they don't want them to say don't want them to say stay home. Why? Because they have to clock in. If they don't clock in, they don't get paid because they are not salaried. Now, imagine those guys doing all this. And in November or December, they already announced they were cutting about 30,000 jobs. You just made a record profit, right? Record profit. And what they are going to do is fire an additional 16,000. Now, I'm a trader. And when things like that happen, it is unfortunate, but as the reality of the market, that mostly tells you Amazon is due for one. Because why? They are reducing expenses. So now they don't have to pay salary. They no longer, or payroll cost is going down. They don't have to pay out benefits and all these things. So they are saving money, which is good for the stock. But at the same time, I'm also human. I'm not going to forget the human aspect of it because I grew up having a job. Because these 16,000 people are going to be people that has to figure out how they're going to pay for childcare, for car note, for the mortgage, for the rent, how to buy food, how to pay the lights, how to pay the cell phone bill. All these things is going to come into play. All right. So I say all this to let you guys know the stock market is the only place where only you can fire yourself. And the way you fire yourself most of the time is by making mistakes and not following your process. This is why I'm adamant. I keep telling you guys, you must follow your process. Don't chase profit. I understand you're going to make mistakes. When you do, Accept the fact that you made a mistake and don't blame it on anything else. Go back and look at it. I'll tell you one thing. Like my wife always told me, you're very hard on yourself. I am. I'm hard on myself because trading in the stock market is literally you versus you. I understand a lot of different things can happen. When certain things happen that's out of your control, it is what it is. All right? You can live with that. But you have to be honest with yourself. If you make a mistake, if you whatever, you do that. But anyway, just going coming back to it, this is why I'm so passionate about this. This is why I want to keep doing these things, and whatever, because I do believe the stock market gives you a bit of it's not a level playing field. I'm gonna be honest with that, with you with that. You're never gonna have the same information like a Goldman Sachs have. Those guys have an entire research team just so they can get information before you do. All right, that's the way the game is played. But it gives you an advantage that a lot of places do not really give you. All right, you really get that opportunity to be able to make some money, and no one controls whether or not you make them, especially if you're day trading. No one controls that. Just follow your process. You're going to win some, you lose some. Make sure you have a trading plan. Follow it, study, journal, review your trade as much as you can. If you're just learning, open let me just show you guys exactly how to do that right now. If you just like whenever I need to try any new strategies, what do? I come here. Let's see. I don't need trade over 8. I come here and you click on trading panel. You're going to see paper trading right on trading view. You click on paper trading, right? Like you guys see this? Why? Because whenever I'm trying a different strategy, this is where I come to practice it. All right. You can create multiple accounts, right? If I want to create a new account here, I can just create it. I can put 100K, or if I'm going to be trading with just 5,000 or whatever it is, right? But that's not for futures. That's for straight stock. If you just want to practice, right? And let's say I call that practice, and then you create it. Now you have 5,000 in here. This is where you go. You have 5,000 in here for you to come here and take some trade and try out different strategies, see if you understand them. The perfect thing about that is when you're trying to buy, it's going to give you your take profit, your stop loss. You can use that. Always try to go for the 2 to 1 ratio and whatever. I do have some videos on here that can actually help you guys with strategies and things like that. If you don't have a strategy yet, take a look at one of my videos. Maybe one of those strategies can work for you. I use multiple strategies, and this would be one of them. When you take those trades, if you come here, right? What? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do a full video on this for people just learning how to trade. Just telling them showing them how to get to the paper trading and how to review their trade and things like that. I'm gonna do a full video on that, but I just wanted to let you guys know that if you're not familiar, you're trying something new, whatever it is, you can come here and try it out. The stock market, first of all, the stock market is unforgiving. All right. The minute you stop following your trading plan, you are going to pay for it. That's just the way it works. Let me. Do I have a question? Are you positive on the Qs? The Qs right now is at a very strange level. I'm not buying the Qs. As a matter of fact, I would prefer buying puts on the Qs right now. It might still run, but I just as a hedge for my portfolio, that's what I would do. I didn't do that today because I was not paying that much attention to the Qs, to be honest, all day, because I stopped trading very early. But we'll see how things pretty much go. But anyway, just going back to that, if you are trading and you are struggling, I understand. We've all had to pay our dues. We've all experienced losses. We've all had doubts where you think maybe this is not for you. You should quit or whatever it is. But what really makes you a great trader is going through these things, not just being stubborn and saying, I'm just not going to quit and then not change anything, not study, not change things or anything like that. But what makes you a good trader is when you're going through those valleys, understand them and realizing them right away, and say, okay, I've been trading for a week, or I've taken 5 or 6 or 7 trades. They were all losses. I want to take the time to review them and see what mistake I made and see how I can adjust accordingly. And once you go back to doing that, you cannot trade with the exact same size you were trading with before. You size down. All right. Say if you are buying options, you used to buy five. Now you're only buying one. Okay. You only buy one, just one contract, and you see how that goes. All right. So anyway, I don't want to go too long into that because I do have another meetings to get into with the members in the community. But I wanted to let you guys know that I wanted to talk to you guys to let you guys know. Keep up the good fight, man. Even if things are tough right now, eventually it's going to click. Sometimes it's to one trade that changes everything. And if you're part of my community, as I keep encouraging every single person, I do have a link with I'm an affiliate of Apex Trader Funding for futures. So if you want to start with as minimal capital as you can, there will be a link in this video. Click on the link, sign up. It's only $20 to take the evaluation. Once you pass the evaluation, there is an activation fee. That's about $60 for 10 years or something like that. Make sure you know that. So all in, you would be in for about like $80, and you can get an account with 80,000 for you to trade. Now, when I say 80,000 for you to trade, there are certain rules you have to follow. All right. So don't think they're gonna give you 50K for you to take 50K and blow 50K. All right. It's 50K with some parameters. I'm not gonna go into them. I have a video coming on all on Apex and the rules and everything. I'm working with those guys to create a marketing campaign to launch as well. So all of this is going to come. But just so you know, if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me directly, and I can help you out, help you set up. Anyway, guys, thank you for you guys for sticking it throughout this whole time. I really appreciate you guys watching. Take care. I will see you guys tomorrow. It will be another live. I wish you guys the best of luck. Go get it. Stay green. Just get in, get green, and get out, man. Big tech earnings come. It's a mixed bag, and the market hasn't made up its mind yet. So tomorrow we're gonna see what happened. I think Thursday gonna have something to say again. We also have some heavy hitters on Thursday once again. Watch for the reaction tomorrow. Microsoft is down, but it might actually rally. All right, because ASML reported this morning they killed it, and then they were up about 80 points, and then for whatever reason, by the end of the day, they were down 30 points, more than 100 points reversal. All right, so let price confirm, let price tell you what it's doing, and I'll see you guys the next market review. Have a good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.